Hello, everybody. I have a question. Have you wondered if your style should change as you get older? What about when you pass menopause, enter menopause, and you're hot, thus the hair up today? What do? Can you wear the same things you wore when you were younger? Do you have to change them? Well, today I am with menopause style expert Tracy Gold, and she's going to tell us all about how fashion changes and doesn't change with age. Thank you, Tracy.
Hi, Di. It's so wonderful to be here.
So, Tracy, how did you come to focus on the middle-aged woman and our style and how we might want to dress?
Well, I've been styling and designing for women for over 20 years. I'm 51 years old. So one of the things I remember actually when I started learning how to work YouTube, and there was this, the coach was telling us we need to niche down or niche down, however you want to say it. And I remember I was in my late 30s at the time, and it suddenly came to me. I was in dance class. I was like going for it. And suddenly it almost hit me between the eyes. Speak to women over 40. And I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to niche down. I don't want people to know how old I am. People often thought I was younger. And then I realized, no, actually, that's what you should do. And so I started shifting to women over 40.
But why?
But because I wanted to speak to an audience. And one of the things I realized in marketing is that if you try to speak to everybody, you speak to nobody. Mm-hmm. And as soon as I started focusing on women over 40, my channel blew up. And I was like, wow, there's something to this. And I really loved it. And I didn't really mind because if I looked at who I was serving, who I was styling, who was buying my collection, it was predominantly women over 40. Mm-hmm. So it was a really good transition, but there was something about naming it as such that I felt the resistance. Anyway, I was fine with that. I got a little bit older. I was over 40 and that was cool. And then I turned 50, Diane, and I hit perimenopause. Mm-hmm. And I was like, whoa, this is really a thing. I mean, I had spoken to women during COVID, as we all did, had interviews, and every single woman I spoke to over 40 would talk about menopause. I mean, we could be talking about hair and it would be coming down to menopause. And I'm like, what is with this menopause thing? Can we stop talking about it? Mm-hmm. It was getting on my nerves, actually, until I hit. And I was like, oh, now I get it. And at the time, I was on QVC. Mm-hmm. So I was having to go in front of 7 cameras and have everybody seeing myself from all different angles. Mm-hmm. And Diana was selling handbags. Mm-hmm. And handbags, you're standing and you're putting the bag right by the belly. Mm-hmm. And so the cameras were coming from all these different angles. And I'm not exaggerating because I do have a measuring tape and I know how to measure. I gained like 3 inches around my belly almost overnight. Mm-hmm. And I was bloated everywhere and I felt horrible.
Like I equate that to your reaction to menopause?
Well, it was because I remember the first thing that happened was these rolling heat waves while I was sleeping. I mean, it kept on making me super hot. It was a couple of different things. So it wasn't all of a sudden. And I hadn't changed my exercise. I had lived a very health-focused life. I'm plant-based whole food eater. I drink plenty of water. Like I do all the things. And I had never gained weight like that so fast. And so I realized like, oh my goodness, this is what it is. And at the time I had to wear solid color clothing because the brand required that because they didn't want me to clash with the prints. And everything in my closet had prints on it. Mm-hmm. And there's a reason for that because it covers a multitude of things. So I really started understanding firsthand that A, this is real. B, we don't always have the time to figure the style thing out while we've got to get on with our lives and deal with other things. I mean, there are so many challenges. There's the sleep problems. There's the heat waves that happen. There's the hot flashes. There's the brain fog. And to add style to that, like, what are we going to wear? Mm-hmm. We don't have time to figure that out.
So how would style differ for someone that you think is perimenopausal or menopausal versus someone who's not?
Well, let me just say to you that being perimenopausal and speaking to many of my clients who are, your body is different every day.
Mm-hmm.
So the things that I used to, I'll just
So you don't
share.
think your body's different every day as a 20-year-old?
No, not to the same degree.
Uh-huh.
Not to the same degree.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I went from
Well, degrees are what we hear people talk about once you get into the menopausal age.
degrees.
Okay.
And there's, you know what? Let me actually say to you, I worked out. So because I was on QVC at the time, I had to figure this out and I had to figure it out really quickly because I needed to go on with confidence. I needed to be able to feel good about myself. I mean, I would decide what I was going to wear the day before because the studios are in Pennsylvania. So I live in New York City and I'd need to get there. By the time I got there, the outfit that I had chosen to wear, I'm now bloated and it doesn't look the same. That's how fast it was happening for me. That's how intense it was. And so I was like, I have got to figure this thing out.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started figuring it out. And I realized that there are 5 things that shift for us. So, and 5 things that we absolutely have to have in our clothing.
Mm-hmm.
The one is we need clothing that adapts to our bodies on any given day.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, we need shape. One of the big things that I find we do as women is we go to one of 2 extremes. We either go really big and baggy and black.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we wear the big sack and think that hopefully no one will notice.
Mm-hmm.
And there's often quite a lot of shame that goes with that. My body is shameful. I don't fit into my clothes any longer. I'm not feeling good about myself. And so I'm just going to try and wear black and big and baggy to cover it up.
Mm-hmm.
The other extreme is I am determined to wear the clothes that I used to wear.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm going to squeeze myself into them. I'm going to put on the shapewear. I'm going to maybe I'll go up a size, but the styles and the fits are now different to what actually works.
Mm-hmm.
And in both cases, we have shame. In both cases, we're berating our bodies. And I was like, but what about in between? Like there's a lot in between. There's a lot between big and baggy and super tight and doesn't suit your shape. So I was like, what is that in between? And how can I discover that? And how can I offer that to women? And then teach women that there is an alternative to those 2 extremes. And there's definitely an alternative to hating the bodies that we have.
Mm-hmm.
So we need things that we have shape. We need things that have breathability, like on these hot days.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that is huge. We need clothes.
Oh, wait a second. I gotta stop you and ask you a question. Why would you tie shame into this? What do you think shame has to do with?
That's such a great question because when
And I know you're not a psychologist or a psychiatrist,
yeah.
so let's be very clear about that.
I am not a psychologist.
But I'm just curious from a personal point of view.
Yes.
I only want to hear your personal point of view.
Sure.
On that.
So what I have found, I can speak from my own perspective and from the clients that I've worked with because I work with women on this. What I find is that when, and I have experienced this too, when our bodies go through changes, there is a lot of societal pressure that is unacceptable.
Mm-hmm.
And when there is, I mean, for me, it was.
I think that's a very personal statement. I think that's
so?
a very personal statement.
Okay. Why do you think that?
Because I know plenty of women who've, let's say, had a child and they're like, I got some new curves here and it's great because I got this thing that I'm holding now. So I think that's a very personal. I don't like to make those general sweeping statements about women because I think those are actually shaming statements. Yeah,
that's an interesting way of saying it. I think that probably the perspective that I have is because the women that come to me are wanting an alternative. Okay. And sometimes it's not this. So let me give you an example. Yeah. One of my clients she started working with me. Mm-hmm. And she had just had a baby in her late 30s. Mm-hmm. And she had gained weight from having her baby, which is natural, right? Mm-hmm. She had also gone through a whole bunch of IVFs and things like that, which changes your hormones. It does crazy things to your hormones. And as she started wearing clothes that really suited the body she has now, today, she said to me, Tracy, I've actually lost weight. Mm-hmm. Since that, because I'm not stressed about what I need to wear, and I'm not stress eating. Mm-hmm. So it's not about just sitting on the couch and doing nothing and saying, "Oh well, I'm just going to wear Tracy's clothes and I'm going to feel so fabulous. I'm going to lose the weight."
Okay, so wait a second. Did you just say wearing Tracy's clothes is the new diet?
I'm not saying that.
Okay,
I'm saying that is not what I'm saying. I am not saying that wearing my clothes is the new diet. Absolutely not. What I am saying, and this is the power this was the power for me, Diane, is that when I figured out what I needed to wear to suit the body that I have today and would adjust with me, even in solid clothing, even going on 7 different cameras. And nothing had changed. I was still going through this crazy thing. I felt so much better about myself.
Well, one point you make, there is definitely physiological and biological proof that if you're wearing clothes that are too tight, either one, you can't eat enough, or two, you're stalling your digestion.
Wow,
so you actually
could
be gaining weight, because if your buckle is too tight, you just can't digest properly.
Well, so so
it's kind of funny what you're talking about.
It is. So for this client, it was really around accepting. So I think that what it's about is it's about like recognizing when that feeling comes. And if you don't have it, fantastic. Like, I do not believe one of the things I really can't stand about the fashion industry is that it is about making a woman feel like she's not enough. She's not tall enough. Her boobs are too big. Her boobs are too small. Her butt's too big. Her butt's too small. And of course, depending on fashion is what the it style or the it body shape is. And I have always had a problem with the fashion industry, because the fashion industry prides on our insecurities as women to try and sell to us. I believe that fashion has the power, and I have seen this in both of myself and in my clients. I have seen the power that it has to shift how we feel about ourselves. Because when we are dressing our bodies to cover up the things that we don't like, that we find shameful, or we just do not like, we often end up making them look bigger. And when we look in the mirror, that's what we notice. However, when we shift our focus and say, hey, okay, I'm going through body changes, so be it. I'm still going to rock this look. I'm going to look amazing. I'm going to feel amazing. And I'm going to wear clothes that actually come alongside me in my journey. It makes it so much easier to feel better about ourselves. And that is what I have seen. And I've seen it in my clients, and I definitely felt it in myself.
What do those kind of clothes look like? Or is it a general style someone should be looking for? Is it something in particular? You mentioned a list of a few things earlier.
Yes. So I work in 2 different capacities. So I work as a stylist. So I work with people who don't necessarily want to buy my clothes. That's fine, right? And then I have women who love my aesthetic and love the clothing and that kind of thing. But what I did is I designed a collection that does adapt to body shape, that does work with color and print. Because also, as we get a little bit older, we lose color in our hair, we lose color in our skin. It's not all beige. So it does, it would really appeal to somebody who is ready to bring color and print into their closet. They are breathable fabrics. They're sustainable fabrics, but they have shape, right? And they're designed to disguise the menopause baby. Because of all the women that I've spoken to, that is one of the biggest things. I mean, I kind of felt bloated everywhere, but I especially felt bloated around my belly. And I find that sometimes that's the area that we feel there's a lot of emotion there, right? Like, it's the part of our body where we feel a lot of emotion. When we talk about that gut feeling, it's that thing, right? And I just feel like it's time for the fashion industry to start speaking to us. And I go to stores, Diane, and I try on clothes, and I don't see myself I don't see my body as a difficult body to dress, and I struggle to find clothes that actually flatter. There's a lot of rubbish out there.
Why do you think that is?
I think that most of the styles are made for younger bodies. I think the styles, a lot of them are produced in Asian countries, and sample rooms are using fit models that have very different shapes to the average American woman, as an example.
Well, I mean, in the fit modeling industry, don't you think each fashion brand chooses the fit model that they want to scale up or down for, that they perceive their customer to be?
Correct. I think what I'm finding interesting is that I think that I don't. So this is one of the frustrations that I feel right now is that there is so much conversation about menopause and
Mhm.
perimenopause and what's happening to our bodies, what's happening to our brains, HRT, no HRT, those conversations. I go to a lot of those events and conferences and things.
Mm-hmm.
We're not talking about style.
Mm-hmm.
We're not talking about how do we get up in the morning and get out the door and feel good about ourselves and get about our day,
Mm-hmm.
even when we're having a really bloated day.
Mm-hmm.
Those conversations are not really being had. And it's interesting because when I speak to those organizers and I'm like, hey, why don't we do a style workshop or a style event or something like that? They're like, yeah, great idea. And then it never happened. It's like it hasn't happened yet. It's still, and so I think if the conversations are not even being had, how are the fashion like how is the fashion industry gonna catch up to us? Do you know what I'm saying?
How do you think the conversation should happen?
I think that brands,
I mean, because I think every brand appeals to a certain type. I mean, I'm not going to walk into Brandy Melville and think I'm going to fit into their size 0 no matter how slim I am, because to your point, body shift and, what was my size 4 10 years ago is not the same as, the size 4 I can, pull my legs in if I find one of those pairs of pants in my drawer. They just don't pull on the same way, even though I weigh the same. There's definitely been changes. So, but I think there are brands that I don't think any brand can be all the be all and end all to anyone.
I agree.
Or to everyone more so, because
I agree.
They just can't afford it.
Listen, I think that is such a good point, Diane, because I think even as a small brand, I feel pressure to be, say, inclusive in sizing to a certain point. As a small brand, I can only go to
a certain size.
Correct,
or you're
because
out of
I'm
budget.
a small brand and I also am a niche market that I know what my customers want. What I'm finding interesting, though, is that women over 40 have the money to spend. And I feel like a lot of brands are still trying to reach the younger customer. So I'm like, where are the emerging brands that are more speaking to us as women? And where are the brands who are looking at what fits our body shapes? Because it has changed.
Are you wondering where those brands are? Or do you want them to notice that you're focused on it?
No. I'm wondering where the brands are because I've been looking for them. I mean, I find them sometimes I'll find, and I can see that I can see the intentionality. I can see the way in which the things are cut, the type of lines, and I'm like, yes, there's somebody that understands this.
I mean, there's
but
always
they're
been
few
like
and
an
far between.
Eileen Fisher, a Donna Karan, Norma Kamali. I mean, I've worn Norma Kamali bathing suits since the 1980s.
Yes.
And I still buy the same. People probably think I'm wearing the exact same bathing suit since the 1980s because I have bought that exact same bathing suit 3 years,
Yes.
Or 3 times.
Yes.
But, those are very adaptable. They're flowing.
I think that is, okay. That is my point, though.
Okay.
You see, for me, a lot of the clothes that I have seen are very flowing with very little shape. And what I find, and this is in the experience that I've had styling women for 20 years, is that shape is far more flattering than no
I would agree.
shape.
Yeah.
And so what I've done in my brand, I mean, it took a long time. It wasn't a simple process. I had to go through lots of samples to get shapes right so that they could either be soft and flowing or belted and cinched in. Could they be worn multiple different ways? How can they be adjustable? The fabrics, when I choose the fabrics, if they're in a solid color, it needs to be breathable, but it also needs to have hold, because if the fabric is the wrong fabric, it doesn't matter how baggy that shape is, it's going to catch you on the wrong and it's going to show. Then you have to have and it's going to show all the panty lines and it's going to show, I mean, I just did a video the other day where I went into, I won't say the retailer, I was like, okay, I'm just going to look for bad clothes.
Uh-huh.
I found bad clothes in 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
A whole bunch of them.
Now, what made them bad?
Well, I wish I could actually show you the photograph.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, if you want to share it, you're welcome to. I took a solid color dress
Mm-hmm.
that was the wrong shape with the same body that I have. And I'm telling you, Diane, it made my stomach look like it was enormous.
So it's not that the clothes were bad, it's they didn't fit on your body.
No, the clothes were bad.
But why?
The shape was so bad. The fabric clung to every place. And it actually made my whole body, and I didn't even try hard. Like it just, also what I find, and I know we're doing a podcast, so it's difficult. I'm a very visual person. What I have discovered is that when women wear things that are more slightly nipped into the waist
Mm-hmm.
and then flare out,
Mm-hmm.
it's a much more flattering silhouette.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things that we see nowadays are very straight up and down,
Yeah.
okay? And if they're made in the wrong fabric and they cling, they show everything.
Mm-hmm.
So these clothes, it was interesting. Like the one was the solid colored dress. And even when my husband saw me, he was like, whoa! Like that's, and then I went and I filmed it on exactly the same day because my body changes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I filmed it with a printed, more fitted wrap dress.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like a completely different silhouette.
Mhm.
Same body, 2 different dresses. I then took another dress that was more of a pencil, so it was fitted in the hips and then narrowed to the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Very classic. I hear a lot of stylists say, "Oh, a pencil is perfect for everybody. Everybody can wear it." Well, actually, when you
They can
do
wear
that,
it, they just can't walk in it.
yeah, they can't walk in it. But what it also does is that when it's narrowed at the bottom, it makes everything above it look wider.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all about proportions. It's learning proportions. And so if you shift that and you have things that fit a little bit and then flare out and that the hem is the widest point, it actually makes everything above it look narrower.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see a lot of that around. I don't see a lot of that around.
Mhm.
So I'll see, we make clothes for the women over 40, but they're very straight up and down. There's no real shape. There's no real, what I find also.
Well, Diane von Furstenberg made a career on her wrap dress.
That is such a great example.
Mhm.
That is such a great example of how she introduced print and she introduced a wrap. The wrap dress is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
The wrap dresses that she has today are very much like pencils,
Mhm.
and they are very small cut.
They don't still have the A-line bottom?
They don't. They don't have very much of an A-line. They're very much more, like I even took a top, and I don't want to disrespect because she did amazing things, but like I don't have a big bust.
Mm-hmm.
I can't get coverage
Mm-hmm.
from her top.
Hmm.
Like I have to wear something underneath.
Yeah.
I've heard countless women say to me, I love her dresses. I would love to. I put them on, they just don't work for me.
Hmm.
So what I did is I created a wrap dress that is more A-line, that has a
Uh-huh.
lot of wrap to it, that's made in a fabric, so it has a lot of flexibility. So that way, if you need to tie it looser one day, it's okay.
Mhm.
If you need to tie it tighter another day, that's okay. And the prints disguise.
Right.
Even if I'm having a bloated day, even
Mhm.
if my clients are having a bloated day. So that is what I have discovered.
Where do you think these things could shift?
I love that. I think part of me, that's an interesting question. I think part of me feels that we as the customer have more power than we think.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes I wonder if, let me think about this. This has got me, because part of me thinks that the brands need to lead
Uh-huh.
and speak to women, but
Which is what you're trying to do with your
which
brand.
is what I'm trying to do.
Mhm.
My challenge, however, is that women sometimes don't realize that there's an option.
Mm-hmm.
And so I understand from a brand's perspective, it's a long way around because it's about creating awareness.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you an example of a brand that's done that incredibly well.
Mm-hmm.
Pepper Bras.
Mm-hmm.
They are a bra company that is specifically made for small cupped women.
Mm-hmm.
And they have spent they have got adverts going all over platforms. Why? Because women who have small cups wouldn't necessarily be going and looking for a bra specifically for small cups.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So they don't realize that they're just struggling with the bras that they have. They never quite fit. It doesn't really work. Their bras are phenomenal. Like that's all that I ever wear now.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't have known that I needed that until I saw the advert. So I think you have to, I think if you are a brand, and that is one of my challenges, is that I am trying from a thought leader perspective to grow awareness and help women realize that, hey, there is an alternative and there are alternatives. And whether it's my brand or it's somebody else's, that's okay. I just want you to love the body you have.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you deserve to.
Well, you're really pioneering you found your niche market. You're pioneering into it. It's really not whether other people do it. It's awareness of what you're doing. It's kind of like when the shirt company Untuckit started, which was designed for men who were shorter and, didn't want, if they wore a regular shirt, they were tucking it in and
it was too long.
The shirt was all the way down to above their knees.
Yes.
Whereas Untuckit said, well, we're going to take the exact same shirt, but we're going to make the length of it from shoulder to whatever you would call it, hem, you would know, shorter.
Yes.
So that worked very successfully for them.
Yes.
In that area, just like there's the suit company, big and tall men. I can't imagine if I'm Shaq O'Neal where I'm going to go get my, or a professional boxer, in the heavyweight genre. You're going to need to go to a big and tall men's shop. So you're focusing on, an interesting opportunity.
Yes. That's what I saw. When I thought to myself, okay, so I understand that most women are not going to be in front of 7 cameras. Like, I get that, right? I know that story is unique to probably me or people who are on camera. However, I do know women. And I do know that we want to be able to throw something on and know that we look good and get about our day. And if that is harder with all the other challenges that we face, it makes a big difference. And so I thought, if I can figure this out, hey, then maybe I can help other women too. Like maybe I can, because I'm so attuned to that. And I also know what I'm looking at. And I have experience as both a designer and a stylist. And I use my community to get feedback.
Let's go back to, you mentioned 5 things before.
Yes.
Let's break them down.
Okay, I love that. So first of all, we need clothes that adapt to our bodies. So we need things that are not so perfectly tight on one day and then don't fit the next.
Okay. So adaptable.
Adaptable. Number 2, we need items that have shape to them. Shape is not tight. So I think women get very nervous when I say shape. They're like, oh, I don't want tight. I'm like, no. There's a big difference between baggy and shape, and there's a big difference between shape and tight. So something that gives you shape, right? Number 3, we need items that are going to be super breathable. We need fabrics that are breathable.
What are examples of breathable fabric?
Well, this is the wonderful thing, is that fabric technology has grown immensely. So so I am finding it much easier as the designer to find breathable fabrics where I wasn't able to before. So I use a lot of stretch fabrics, and before I was like, yeah, bring me an alternative, please.
What would the compositions, for example?
So the composition is normally, there have been fabrics called what I call viscose lycra. Look, the terminology in the US may be different to what I know because I'm from South Africa. But viscose is made out of a tree pulp. But the traditional viscose lycra loses its shape. It pulls very easily. It's not a great quality. I happened to find at the New York Fabric Show just a few months ago, a amazing supplier that brings in fact, I'm wearing it now. This is viscose lycra. It is breathable. It's made with 50% less carbon emissions. It will actually compost if it's left somewhere forever, so it's really great. But it's a much better quality. It holds really well. It washes and wears really well. It isn't super thin, but it's breathable and it's cool.
Got it.
So that's possible. So anything that has natural fibers, so your cottons, silks are natural fibers, but silks can be quite complicated for women because we sweat more and that's going to leave marks. So that can be somewhat problematic. But anything too polyester driven, anything that's going to make you hotter. Just is. The fourth thing is we need items that are versatile. What I do find is that when you start finding things that you really work for your body shape, that usually body shape and personal style and all that, it usually has a little bit of a higher price tag. So my suggestion with my clients is you can have a good capsule wardrobe and still have plenty to wear. You can even have a capsule wardrobe of really bright and colorful things and still have plenty to wear.
What do you count as a capsule wardrobe?
It's not a number of items. It's just simply that you have pieces and you have less rather than a whole bunch of stuff. So like a lot of women have got
staple items is what you would call it.
Staple items. It's often what women have is they have a closet full of clothing and nothing to wear, right? We have 10 pairs of jeans and maybe 2 fit, right? Or we have tons of the same things and we wear maybe 20% of what we have in our closet. My thing is, if you're going to spend a little more, rather buy good pieces that you can mix and match and dress up and dress down. You can wear it multiple different ways. You can dress it up for a party. You can dress it down for the weekend. You can do all these kind of things. And if you're going to spend more, you want to make sure that you're going to have wear, that you're going to be able to wear it. What happens is that often when you buy cheaper stuff, if it's lower quality, higher price doesn't necessarily mean higher quality, but if it is a lower quality item and it is a cheaper item, you're going to wear it for a short period of time, and then you're going to have to chuck it because it looks so bad, and then you're going to have to shop again for it. And if that shopping process isn't fun for you, that's a lot of time you're spending on trying to replace those items, right? So rather buy quality that really works with your body shape. Discover your brands that do work. That helps a lot. It cuts down the shopping time, and then make sure that it's versatile. Okay. And then the fifth one is your coverage. And that is completely dependent on you. So there are women who are like, nothing you're going to say is going to make me show my upper arms. I'm like, okay, let's make sure we have clothes that cover your upper arms. Some women are like, I don't mind showing my upper arms. I'm okay with showing some women want to show their legs. Some women don't want. So whatever coverage means for you, make sure your clothing does that. Those are the 5 things.
Those sound like good 5 rules.
Well, I hate fashion rules. You know me, Diane, and you hate fashion rules too. I know you hate fashion rules. So for me, it's really around.
No, I don't hate fashion rules. I just don't know what they are. So I don't know if I'm breaking the rule or not,
I don't think you care I don't think you care about the rules.
I don't.
I don't think, and I think this is the wonderful thing is that we are all individual. And I think we can claim that. We don't all have to look the same. We don't all have to be the same.
Now tell me, let's talk about you are we won't use the word budding designer, but an early designer.
Oh, I am an indie designer.
Okay,
yes,
so
absolutely.
You're an indie designer. What's that look like to you? What's it like being an indie designer trying to break in and establish a niche market?
Well, the interesting thing for
that is a very large niche market, if you can tap it.
Yes, if you can tap it. What is interesting for me, Diane, is that I'm not just a designer. So I am also a content creator. I have a YouTube channel. I create 3 videos a week on different topics relating to women over 40 from a fashion perspective. I love building community. I'm also a on-air guest for QVC. I do a lot of shows and that type of thing. I also really love working with women individually. I love helping them shop. I love helping them create looks that do represent who they are. My collection is a tool that I use. So I'm not really interested in creating a big brand with my collection. unless there's somebody who can help me do that.
Okay.
Then that would be fine. But I don't want to have to touch it, right?
Mhm.
Like I want to be able to use it as a tool because I do find it frustrating, even as a stylist, even as somebody who knows how to shop. I find it hard to find clothes.
Mhm.
And so I want to it really helps me. It also helps me when I do workshops and I'm showing this is the kind of thing that you can try versus that thing. It really helps when I have that as a tool to give examples. And if
Mhm.
people resonate, great. If they don't, that's okay too.
How would you, obviously, your clothing line hits on many of the points you outlined before.
Yes,
How else
all
would
of
you
them.
describe it or
It-
define it?
Yes, it is fun.
Mm-hmm.
It is bold, it is colorful, and it is also customizable. And that is a big difference. So my clients get to choose. So first of all, if you're petite, you can have it cut to your size, to your length, which of course is a huge pain point. You and I have spoken about many times before. You can also choose. You can say, well, I like, this is what my clients do. I like that style, but I want it in this fabric. Or I want this fabric, and I help them build their wardrobes so that it's customizable and it arrives and it fits you. And if there are tweaks that need to be made, the cost includes a one-time free alteration. So if sometimes, because we are individuals, that's my whole thing, is that because we are individuals, sometimes we need tweaks. And so I've made sure to include that in what they get.
That alteration is such an interesting point. It's expensive.
It's very expensive
to go buy something and then go have it altered. But, I think I wasn't until maybe I was 40 that someone said to me, did you ever consider altering some of what you wear? And I was like, well, that's probably a good idea. And I remember the difference in having, as you said, just certain tweaks.
Yes.
That tweak into the waist, that, my kids are very aware of it. The adjustment of where the fold is on your pants with your pants leg, where the break, they call, I guess it's called.
Yes.
So it's interesting to think about that you're offering that as a feature within your sale.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
very
That's what
high.
makes it-
That's a high-line feature to be offering your clients.
Yes. And that's what makes it unique. See? So I think, I have styles that I know will work for pretty much everybody. Like I have a wear 3 ways dress. It can adjust. It comes out to here, but yes, it's an extra small to medium, and it cinches in with a drawstring at the top, and it is made in a triangle shape so that it has a little bit of a waist definition and then flares out.
Is that a one size fits all?
It is quite remarkable. It does an extra small to medium and large to 3X. And you can belt it. You can wear it on its own. You can layer it with other things. If you need to cover bra straps because you have bigger girls and a strapless bra is just not on the cards for you, you can adjust it completely so that it covers the bra straps. You can adjust it higher, lower. And then of course, if you do want upper arm coverage, there is a top that comes, you can get it in exactly the same fabric. My clients call it the magic blouse. It cinches and even helps to disguise the belly, and it cinches into the waist and gives you a really nice defined shape. So, everything. And then I create these capsule wardrobes. So for fall, I'm creating 3 different capsules where there are pieces that mix and match. And you can either wear them crazy together and wear the prints together and they work well. Or if you're more of a classic girl, but you like just that statement piece, you wear your classics and then you have your statement piece. And you can wear them individually. And they all mix and match and dress up and dress down. So you don't have to think about it.
Are you doing all this manufacturing yourself, getting these things sourced?
Yes. Yeah. So I have a seamstress. She is in Pennsylvania. So I have to ship things to her. She's fantastic. But I do all the sourcing. I do all the design. I do the patterns. I cut. I sew. I have to work with the fabric. I have to feel it on my skin. I have to make sure that I am going to be completely happy that when she gets it home, she's going to feel amazing in it. It's so important to me.
This has been such an interesting conversation that we've covered so many different topics.
We really have.
It's really been a pleasure to have you here. Do you
Thanks,
have any
Diane.
closing thing you'd like the audience to know about their personal style and the importance of finding it in your 40s and beyond?
Yeah, I think like decide on who you want to be in the world
Mm-hmm.
and then make sure your look represents that
Hmm.
and reflects who you are. Just like you would, perception what perception do you want to what do you want to send out into the world? And make sure that the packaging reflects that. Because you are the packaging.
That's it.
Yeah. Your clothes are the packaging, shall I
Mhm.
say.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Everybody, I am Dian Griesel. We have been in Manhattan Center, the iconic Manhattan Center on West 34th Street in New York City. This is the Silver Disobedience Perception Dynamics podcast. I really hope you subscribe and do follow Tracy Gold. You can find her on all different social media platforms and her website, and there will also be information down below this podcast where you can follow her. Thanks for watching. Thanks, Tracy.
Thank you.